Hello and welcome back to Tech Support Monday. I'm so glad you joined us. Have you ever felt like your computer or phone is just tired, like it's moving through molasses every time you open an email or look at a photo? Most people think that once a device starts slowing down, it's a sign that it's old and needs to be replaced. But I have a secret for you. Your device probably isn't old, it's just cluttered. Today, we are going to perform a digital tune-up. My goal is to help you get a brand new feeling back without having to spend a single penny on a new device. And don't worry, you don't need to be a tech expert or have a degree to do this. Everything we are going to talk about today can be done right inside your basic settings, and I'm going to walk you through it step by step. Let's get started. Let's start with what I call the full closet. Think of your phone or computer storage like a walk-in closet in your home. When you first move in, it's empty, organized, and it's very easy to see what you're looking for. But over time, you shove in old codes, holiday decorations, and boxes of things you haven't looked at in years. Eventually, that closet gets so packed that you can't even get the door shut, and it takes forever to find your favorite sweater. Your device works the same way. We all know that photos and videos take up space, but there are hidden hogs that you might not expect. On a computer, take a look at your downloads folder. It's usually filled with files you opened once and completely forgot about. On your phone, look at your text messages. Old video attachments sent by friends or family are often the biggest space stealers. Here's a golden rule that most people don't know. Your device needs about 20% of its storage space to stay empty just so it can breathe. When your storage bar is almost full, your device has to work twice as hard to perform simple tasks. Go into your settings today and find the storage section. It will show you exactly what's eating up room. Clearing out even a little bit of that clutter can give your device some breathing room that needs to speed up instantly. Next, let's talk about the invisible workers and what the tech world calls background apps. Imagine you're at home and you decide to turn on every single faucet in the house. You've got the kitchen sink, the bathtub, the garden hose all running full blast. If you then go to the bathroom to wash your hands, the water pressure is going to be terrible, right? That is exactly what happens when you have dozens of apps running in the background. Even if you aren't actively looking at an app, many of them stay awake behind the scenes, quietly eating up your device's energy and memory. For phone users, there are settings called background app refresh. By turning this off for apps you don't need updates from every single second, you'll save your battery life and your speed. For computer users, it's as simple as closing the programs you aren't currently using instead of just minimizing them. By closing those digital faucets that you aren't using, you're saving all the power and pressure for one thing that you're actually trying to do. The one small change can make a massive difference on how fast your device responds to you. Next up is something that happens quietly every time you go on the internet. I like to call it the digital trash, but the technical name for it is your cache. CACHE. Think of the cache like a digital scrapbook. Every time you visit a website, your computer or phone takes a little picture of the logo, the layout, and some of the text. It saves these in a scrapbook so the next time you go to that site, it doesn't have to download everything from scratch. It just looks like at it like it's a scrapbook. At first, this is very helpful, but over weeks and months, that scrapbook gets so bulky and heavy that the device starts to stumble over it. It's like having a hallway in your home so filled with old newspapers, you can't walk through it anymore. Clearing out your cache once a month is like taking out the digital trash. It doesn't need to delete your important files, photos, or emails. All it does is throw away those old photos of websites so your browser can start fresh. When you do this, you'll often find that websites load much smoother and those weird glitches you've been suddenly experiencing disappear. Now let's talk about the frustrating morning rush. Have you ever turned on your computer, sat down with your coffee, and then had to wait 5 or 10 minutes before actually clicking on anything? That's usually because of startup apps. Imagine you're trying to walk through the front door, but 10 other people are trying to squeeze through at the exact same second. That's exactly what happens when you turn on your computer. Many programs like chat apps, music players, or file sharing tools are set to auto start. They insist on waking up the very second your computer does. If you have 15 different things all trying to wake up at once, it creates a digital traffic jam. You can actually go into your settings and see a list of these startup apps. My rule of thumb for you is this. If you don't specifically ask for a program to open, tell it to wait. By turning off those auto starts, you aren't deleting a program, you're just telling it to stay asleep until you actually click on them. This one simple change can shave minutes off your time every morning. Finally, I want to share a hidden gem with you that most people never think about. It's what I call the speed bump trick. Modern phones and computers are designed to look very pretty. When you open an app, it might zoom out at you, or when you switch screens, it might fade into another. These are called animations, and while they look nice, they're actually like little digital speed bumps. Your device has to spend energy and time to draw those pretty movements every single time you click. If you have an older device, those animations can make it feel much slower than it actually is. Inside your accessibility settings, there is a simple switch called Reduce Motion or Disable Animations. When you turn this on, your phone or computer stops trying to look like a movie star and just gets to work. Instead of an app zooming open, it will just appear instantly. It makes your device feel much snappier and more responsive because it's no longer wasting time on the pretty stuff. And there's one thing that slows down our devices that has nothing to do with files or apps, and it's something that most people never even think about: heat. Think of your computer or phone like a person. If you're out in the middle of a hot summer day, you move a little slower, right? You get tired faster because your body is working hard to stay cool. Your tech works exactly the same way. Inside your device is a tiny little brain. If that brain gets too hot, it intentionally slows itself down so it doesn't get damaged. If you're using a laptop, make sure the vents on the side or bottom aren't blocked by a pillow or a blanket. If you're on a phone and it feels hot to touch, try taking it out of its case for a few minutes to let it breathe. And here's a little tip for those with older computers. If your machine is more than 5 years old, the engine inside might actually be reaching its limit. Sometimes a simple internal upgrade, like switching to something called an SSD instead of your normal hard drive, to make a 10-year-old computer feel like it just came out of the box. If your device is physically hot, it's telling you it needs a break. That's a great question, Mateo. That humming is your computer's fan working overtime to cool the device down. If the vents are blocked by a blanket or dust, the brain of your computer slows down to protect itself so it doesn't overheat. Try using a laptop on a hard, flat surface like a desk or a tray to give it more breathing room, and you might notice it getting quieter and faster. And maybe consider now picking up a can of air and blowing into the vents to clear out any dust or particles that may be blocking it. I completely understand that hesitation. While some updates add new features that use more power, they also include important security patches that keep your information safe. Instead of ignoring them, try this. Do the update, but immediately after it finishes, do a full restart of your phone. This helps the new software settle in without getting tangled in the old cobwebs. If you know you'll need them eventually, you don't need to delete them. The trick is to make sure that they aren't invisible workers running in the background while you aren't using them. On most phones, you can do this by going into your settings and turning off background app refresh and editing notifications for those specific apps. That way, they stay in your phone but stay asleep until the day you actually click on them. That is such a common fear, Elena. But I have good news. Clearing out your cache is only like throwing away your old junk mail and newspapers. It won't touch your valuables like your photos, emails, or saved passwords. It only clears out temporary files that websites use to load faster. It's a very safe way for your device to get a fresh start without losing anything important. You hit the nail on the head. As a battery gets older, it struggles to provide a steady flow of fuel to the phone's brain. To prevent the phone from just shutting off, the system will often slow itself down to save power. If your phone is more than 2 or 3 years old, sometimes a simple battery replacement is all you need to make the whole device run lightning fast again. We've covered a lot today, from clearing out your digital closet to stopping those invisible workers in the background, to clearing out your digital trash for managing the morning rush of apps. Remember, you don't need to be a tech genius to keep your devices running smoothly. You just need to give them a little bit of regular care. And when in doubt, never forget the magic of a fresh start. Just turn it off and back on again. I want to hear from you now. What's one app or tech problem that gives you the most trouble? Or did any of the tips we talked about today surprise you? Drop your questions or your biggest tech frustrations in the comments below. I'll be reading through them and picking the best ones to answer in our Tech Support Wednesday Q&A video this week. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to our channel so you never miss a Tech Support Monday update. And if you're looking for a professional website that stays fast, looks great, and is incredibly simple for you to manage, come visit us at 123mapwebsites.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next Monday.